Hi guys, what's up? It's Will back once again. We're here for another fight card. We're here for UFC Vegas 15, I believe it is. Curtis Blaydes against Derrick Lewis is our main event right here. A little bit of a different setup. The camera's a wee bit weird on here, so if it looks a little wee bit awkward and different than usual, this is why. Coming off a pretty good UFC 255. I had one of my biggest betting events of the year, I should say. Nailed all my bets, which is really nice. My official bets, I should say. So yeah, that's awesome. I'm looking kind of moving into this card and just trying to somehow come out here with profit. I think this is a tough card. I don't think it's a great card, and yeah, I'm trying to find my spots in this one. I've one bet already, which I will tell you about when I get to that fight. But I've just got a couple of things I want to ask of you, if possible, before we get into these fights here. We're 60 or so away from getting 4,000 subs. Can we do it between now and the end of December? Because that would be awesome if we could. It would be awesome for me to hit that milestone. But it's been a little bit slow with the channel. So I'd much appreciate if you could throw a thumbs up. Comment below. I'll try and get back to you. I'm just getting a little bit busy moving into the hectic Christmas period. But the big thing I really wanted to talk about is... you know, every year I like to try and raise some money for charity through the channel and try and help there. So this year it was to kind of help with some of the charities regarding COVID and the fundraising that they couldn't get. This year it's for providing Christmas meals for all kind of homeless pets out and about there. You know, I love animals and I try and raise money. I'll be making a donation myself to the chosen charities that are getting the money. But every week, or every few weeks I should say, I've always got people saying, look, I tailed your bets, can I give you some money towards, can I give you some money, pretty much is what it is. And I always say no, and the people that watch this will know that I always say no. I never try and take people's money because I like to do this for free. I've never been one to think I could like sell bets or anything at all, and any of the money that I've kind of ever taken or the little bits that I have, I've put in my daughter's bank account. But for this here, I'm really trying to raise some good money for charities in this Christmas period. So if the people that reach out and ask, look, can I give you money for the bets that you have won me and the spots that you have, this would be the time that I would probably take it. Last time I raised a good few £100 for the chosen charities to add to the big collection for the place that I work. So if you can, guys, I would love it if you could, anything at all. If you can't, that's absolutely fine. I'm not asking that. I'm just putting it out there because I know there is people that offer all the time to give me money for bets that they've cashed, and so on. So just a little ask, if you can, please. If you like to get in touch with me, my email is, you can find it through the channel. Go onto Twitter, Will Martin MMA, and you can, my inbox is always open there, direct message. You can get in touch with me, and I'm trying to make some money. I know there's some people out there that will help, so if you can, please help out. It'd be much appreciated. So I've rabbled on for the last 3 minutes about that. Let's talk some fights. Starting off in the featherweight division with a bout that got added last week. It is Jonathan Pearce against Kai Kamaka III, and I must admit I was super impressed with Kai Kamaka in his UFC debut. Great fight of the night performance against Tony Kelly, and getting a kind of short turnaround. This was something last week that really got put in there, and is something that, like I say, it's a short notice fight, but I'm going to be in the Kai Kamaka side here. I'm looking for a spot where I can parlay him. The odds are like -300 here in the UK. So I'm looking to try and parlay him up a little bit. But I'm trying to find a spot where I can do it. I think I've got a couple of pieces that I quite like. But what I liked about it was a high output, just a high engine in that fight of keeping on going. Really got that Hawaiian warrior spirit, which is... always something I look for in fighters, is a guy that will keep on going in fights. He mixed in a couple of takedowns in there, throwing some nice combinations. Tony Kelly's got some good striking himself. He get hit with some decent strikes. So he's got a lot of heart. He sticks in it. Jonathan Pearce, to me, I don't think he looked great. I thought the UFC were trying to set him up with a win against Joe Lozon. That didn't play out well at all. He got ran through pretty much by Joe Lozon, and not a good look. So he'll be looking to make a big difference here in this fight here. I think that his striking is at a work in progress, definitely. You can see that. He's got a little bit of length, I think, on Kai Kamaka. So I'm interested in this fight on the Kamaka side more than anything. I think he is the better fighter in the spot here. So I'm going to take Kai Kamaka in that one there. Oh, there we go. I was going to ask there, I was like, Tiger Bomb MMA, actually. I should say, guys, this is a guy that actually reached out, and I'm sorry for not getting back to you last week. But he started a channel, and he says that I was one of the ones that kind of inspired him a little bit. And see, to hear stuff like that, it is so worth it. So, Tiger Bomb, all the very, very best. Keep pumping them cards out week in, week out, and you will see a growth with your channel. So, guys, go and follow him and sub to his channel and help grow, because I always like to try and promote other prediction channels out there. And, guys, if you're in the chat there, let me know what your picks are for certain fights that we're talking about. Next up, featherweight division, Spyke Carlisle against Bill Algeo. I think one of the better fights on the card here. Spyke Carlisle is an absolute loony. Like, he's one of these fighters that I love to watch. Like, I can't stop smiling when I speak about certain fighters, and he's one of them because he's an absolute nut job. You don't know what you're going to get from him. Comes out super blazing, comes forward, tries to throw big, heavy strikes. The guy's got some serious natural power, like really big natural power, and that's something you can never kind of let your guard down against. But he does make mistakes in there. There is spots where you can reverse him, but he can get high altitude takedowns. He can work his way to the back, but he can also give up spots like that. He kind of burned me last time out. I actually still think that he could have got the decision against Billy Quarantillo. I thought it was a very close fight, in my opinion. But he came out there, hurt him initially. I thought he was going to run through him. I was in the quarter-final of a DraftKings tournament, looking to move on to the semi-finals to make some good money. I'd still made some good money, but it came down to that fight. My opponent had Billy Quarantillo. I had Spyke Carlisle, and he edged it, so that sucked. But Bill Algeo was coming off a great performance, I think, in a loss to Ricardo Lamas. High, significant strikes landed in that fight. His takedown defense is something that worries me. Spyke Carlisle really does power into his takedowns a lot. But obviously, he's just a weird guy. Like, the end of that first round where he's running away, not looking, and he gets caught with a shot to the side of the head. I mean, it's crazy shit like that you've got to be careful of. He's got a betting line that I'm actually kind of tempted with at -165. But Bill Algeo here, I think that Spyke, I like the power, I like the raw power, and I think he's the more talented fighter. Just some of the things that really worry me is the gas tank, which has been brought up, and just maybe his fight IQ a little bit. But I do like the natural power that he has, and I think he can hurt a lot of fighters. And Bill Algeo absorbs a lot of strikes as well. You've seen in the Loughnane fight, absorbed a lot of strikes. He's one of those fighters that's DraftKings. He can land a lot and he can absorb a lot. So this could be a fight that you could look out in some spots there for both guys. For me, I'm going to go with Spyke Carlisle. I'm on that side there. So Spyke Carlisle for the win in that one for me there. Next up, we have catchweight bout Luke Sanders against Nathan Maness. I really like Luke Sanders in this spot, and I've already bet Luke Sanders last week. I bet him at +120. I looked at that line, I was like, why is the line like that? Went and watched some fights. An hour later, the line was still there. +120. I was on that from the get-go. So my only bet I have for this card so far is Luke Sanders. And when I look at this fight, now Luke Sanders in some spots has let us down with his questionable fight IQ, but he has a lot of things that I really, really like. He's got an atomic, thunderous, massive left hand that he can land on a lot of people. And I think he's an okay, well-rounded fighter. His fight IQ does worry me, if I'm being honest with you. Like I say, the betting line was higher than +120, which is a surprise to me. But I really like the bet there. And now the betting line's flipped to now he's a -135 favourite. So getting on that plus money early was really, really nice. So what I see from Nathan Maness, the one thing I'll say here, he's now quit his job. He is now a full-time fighter who's training specifically full-time. You will start to see big jumps in his skills in the next few fights, in my opinion, with him being in the camp, in and out all the time. So he's very, very tall. Reach and size advantage here. Well, I did see that. Sorry, I'll get back to you. I'll send you a mail on MMA Playground. I'll get back to you on that. But I think his chin's a little bit high. I think that he's not good at like a distance reach. Yeah, I think that he can get inside him fairly easily. I think his striking's okay. I think it's something that will get better the more time he puts into it. But you can push him around very, very easily, and you can push him back. And with the power that Luke Sanders has, I think that could cause him problems, because he's a guy that likes to back people up and use the power strikes that he has. I think he's very open to the body. I think that Sanders can really mix it up there. And yeah, Brandon, you're one that always questions my picks, but there's a few that I know I've caught you right there. I know he lost to Andre Sukumtath, but this, I think, is a good spot for him. I remember your name, Mr. Brandon Phillips. I remember you brought something up not long ago where you thought something was right and was very, very wrong. So this is just my opinion. Your opinion is that Nathan Maness is there. If Nathan wins at the weekend, come back and say, look, I picked him, you were wrong. That's fine, I can take that on the chin. So yeah, but stylistically, I think it's just a good fight for him. I think he can walk him down, and I think he can land that big killer shot. Just that Sanders isn't the most trustworthy guy. That's pretty much it. And he's coming off an injury layoff, which is always a little bit of a worry. But I think this is a good matchup. I really do. And he's been at fight ready. He's been getting ready for with some good guys and girls there. So I like Luke Sanders. Like I say, the bet line's flipped, so I'm on the right side. I've seen him to win, but yeah, I like that spot there. He'll be one of my more, I don't want to say one of my more confident picks, because like I've been confident in the past, and he's been shit and did something really badly and been in massive winning positions, and then end up losing the fight. So, but he's a fighter I predominantly do like to watch. So, yeah, I'm going to take Luke Sanders in that one there. Sumadarji against Malcom Gordon. I think I'm going to edge Sumadarji in this one. Malcom Gordon to me is... what's up, Brian? Thank you for that. Much appreciated. Yeah, Malcom Gordon to me, super chinny. I don't think you can rely on this guy with his chin. I think that it's a big red flag with this guy. When you watch his fights, he's very explosive in spots, very explosive with his jiu-jitsu. If you leave something in there, he can grab it. And he's got some fast hands, he can put it on your chin. I don't think he can take too many big shots here. And the more technical fighter, 100% in this one, and the more technical striker is Sumadarji. And he's going to be making, he's only 23, 24 years old. Big jumps in the style of his game. Coming off a win, I've totally forgot the guy who he faced last time out, so let me bring that up, because I know that he lost. And in saying that, his two losses are to ground fighters. Smolka submitted him via an armbar, and then the fight before he came into the UFC, he actually got caught as well in a choke. Beat Andre Sukumtath, the guy that we're just speaking about with the Luke Sanders fight there, who's got some big power. He really picked him apart with his striking. Really good striking, and that's kind of how I see this fight going here. As long as he avoids the kind of opportunistic kind of jiu-jitsu scrambles, and just don't get caught with a clean shot, I think that he wins a pretty dominant 30-27 here. I mean, Malcom Gordon, I was kind of very close to betting him in his first fight in the UFC, and we found out that Amir Albazi is really good on the ground, and he really couldn't defend much off in that fight there. So Sumadarji is going to be my pick here. I think the bet line's a little high. I think the bet line is super high. Let me bring that up right now. Sumadarji is minus 330. I don't like that. If it was in the minus 200s, it might be something I could parlay up and feel confident with it. But at like minus 330, nah, I don't like that at all. I think maybe a bet to look at there is the under 2.5, if they've got that out yet. Under 2.5, over 2.5. So the under's minus 155. No, I don't want no part of that. So Sumadarji is going to be my pick in that one there. a guy we were just talking about, Amir Albazi against Zhalgas Zhumagulov. Interesting fight here. I can see why this is lined up pick'em. Because I do think it's a very, very close run fight. You've got the jiu-jitsu specialist in Albazi, who's a fairly decent grappler, doesn't deal well with pressure, against someone like Zhalgas, who's a good point striker, who likes to move forward, can mix in takedowns and spots, but has some very close fights. And I think he's been a little bit fortunate in some spots and a little bit unfortunate in some spots. The fights against Ulanbekov, against Bagatinov, I didn't think he won those fights, honestly, before he went to UFC. But Raulian Paiva, his last fight, I actually think that he deserved to get the win in that fight there. And I bet on Raulian Paiva. When it went to the scorecards, I thought Zhalgas was going to win that fight, honestly. So, yeah, like I say, you've got the good ground specialist in Amir Albazi, who, like I say, if you watch his Shorty Torres fight, gets backed up a lot. He doesn't deal well with pressure when he's getting backed up. But when he gets to the ground, you can see he's very comfortable there. I reached out to some of the guys at London Shoot Fighters, where he comes and trains, and he says he's very, very good on the ground. He's very technical with his jiu-jitsu, moves into spots very, very well, and ultimately it's just a really good ground fighter. Striking is something that has to be improved, but that's something that will come along with maybe being at the gym more often and getting days and reps in there. Zhalgas, to me, like I say, point fighter, got some decent power, some decent striking, very hittable himself, though. I think if he wants to grapple, he has to be careful. This fight, to me, I want no real part of it. Minus 110 apiece. It's a pick-em for a reason. If you've got a good lean in what you see in this one, then I'll go with that. My lean is with Zhalgas. I think he squeaks out another like close 29-28, maybe even a split decision here. But if Amir gets him to the ground and can have long spots where he can control him in the ground, then I think Skywalker, I can see that. We can maybe see that there. We can maybe do something, but I've got some things in the pipeline for 2021, so we can maybe do that. Roy Jones. I'm going to go Roy Jones Jr. He was one of my favourite boxers, so yeah. I'm going to go Zhalgas Zhumagulov for a very close win in that one there. Martin Day against Anderson dos Santos in a really winner kind of keeps their job type scenario here. Both guys coming off 2 losses. I've got the one bet I actually like for this one, I'll give you this one out. I don't think I'm going to play it because I'm not a big prop better, and I'm not very good with like unders and overs. But I actually quite like the under 2.5 rounds, which is plus 200, I think, in the UK here. Because I think both guys are going to be super, super aggressive here. You've got Anderson dos Santos, who I think is a little bit more well-rounded, more better on the ground. I think he can control the fight there. Martin Day, I think, is a more slicker striker. Good footwork, can get a little bit aggressive. Got knocked out by Davy Grant. I don't think that's the greatest look ever. Was starting to kind of come into that fight a little bit, but got too aggressive and got his chin checked and got put down there. Anderson dos Santos, the guy that, like I say, a hard-nosed veteran of the sport, coming on 30 fights within the sport, but he has lost his last couple of fights to Andre Ewell. Like I say, he did get some well-timed takedowns there, but Andre Ewell's got really bad takedown defense, so he kind of managed to get that spot there and get that, but he still lost the fight unanimously. And Nad Narimani, he was just kind of outgunned a little bit in every aspect of that spot there. So I think he has to take the fight to the ground and have large spots where he can use his jiu-jitsu, a little bit of his wrestling. If it stays predominantly standing, I like the more technical Martin Day. It's not a fight that I've got a hell of a lot of confidence in. I've not looked into it all that much, but I like Martin Day. I like the Hawaiian spirits. I always loved the Hawaiian fighters. I always have had a little bit of affinity for those guys. So I've got Martin Day, but this could be an exciting fight. To have a look at the under 2.5 rounds, it might be something that you like there, but I've got Martin Day in a close one there. Ashlee Evans Smith against Norma Dumont. I've got Ashlee Evans Smith in this one here. Not a fight I looked into a hell of a lot. I thought there was other fights. I'm actually being really attracted by next week's card, I'll be honest with you. I like that card a hell of a lot more, betting wise. Better fights are on that card in my opinion, and there's just fights in this one I just don't particularly like all too much. But Ashlee Evans Smith, I mean, she's been around for a long time in the UFC now, kind of established herself as a fighter who's been been in there with some decent people. I mean, Andrea Lee, Caitlin Vera. But, I mean, our wins aren't great. Like, Marion Renault, I think, is a good win, actually, to be fair. But that was a very close split decision. Macedo's still a very young green fighter, in my opinion, where that was her best performance. And then you had the Beck Rollins fight there where she landed a lot of significant strikes there, but Beck Rollins is so open to getting hit. It's not even funny. She got the takedown there. She can get takedowns. That's something that I like. And I think Dumont will look to maybe... I don't think she'll stop the takedowns, honestly. I think that Ashlee is the bigger girl. She is strong, definitely stronger. She's a stronger wrestler. Both girls are very open to getting hit, though. And that's something that I don't like too much. I'm going to lean on the Ashlee Evans-Smith side. I think this is another pick'em, if I remember right off the top of my head. Minus 120, so the lines have kind of flipped because I did see some plus numbers on Ashlee Evans-Smith there. I'm kind of on her side very, very closely. I think she can win via a decision, so I've got her in that one there. Moving on to the main card. Now, I really hope this is not the first fight in the main card because this should be at least the co-main event, in my opinion. But it's Anthony Smith against Devin Clark in the first fight of the main card. This is a weird main card, by the way. Anthony Smith, has he got one fight out the kind of door already? 1 foot out the door? Kind of seems that way, but I do feel he's taken a step down in opponent because, I mean, he faced Glover Teixeira, who is an absolute warrior of the sport. One of the best guys at 205, in my opinion. He has been for the longest time, and he's really started to kind of find his feet again and beating top guys. Then he faced Alexander Rakic, and then he got demobilised very, very quickly with those low kicks. But he usually starts off fights really well, but he kind of fades a little bit. And I think that Devin Clark, I think there's a clear path for Devin Clark to use those big tree trunks of legs that he has, try and chop him down, try and not get countered though, because Smith has got the length in him here, and he throws nice straight shots to probably counter someone like Devin Clark. But to me, I think Devin has to try and hit him on the outside with those leg kicks, initiate the clinch and try and clinch him up, because I do think takedowns can be there against Anthony Smith. And I'm kind of the ilk that Anthony Smith is maybe looking to kind of move on, do other things. He's got his foot into like doing analyst roles for the UFC and so on. But this is, in my opinion, a step down. And like I say, he's only got an inch advantage over Devin Clark in the reach, which is not all that much, but the height advantage he has. He's kind of been, like I say, outside the first round in maybe 2 minutes. So the first 8 minutes of the fight, he was doing well in the Glover fight, but as soon as he got hit with one shot that really hurt him, then he really he got his ass beat. And it was the same with the Rakic fight. I mean, Rakic got a knockdown in that fight there, and he just picked him apart with strikes. He really, really did. He absolutely blew through him with strikes there. And, I mean, he's had the 2 fights. That's the 2 fights since May, so that's not even, 6 months? And they're 2 big damaging fights. I don't know whether I should be Anthony Smith. I've always been a little bit iffy with Anthony Smith fights anyway. But I'm kind of surprised people aren't betting him up in little things. So, and like I say, the fight's been thrown together fairly quickly. Devin Clark seems to be in the best spot. He's been in the UFC. Daquan Townsend, everybody beats Daquan Townsend. Got some takedowns in that one there. Then he slugged it out a little bit with Alonzo Menifield, who was a bigger, badder striker. Outstruck him. Once he started to fade, really went through him there. I agree with you, Brandon. I think that's a good start there. Coming up short notice, they've not been great. I'm going to go with Devin Clark. I'm going to take a shot in the dog here. It's not a play I'll be making betting-wise. I don't like that. So, I know he's not beating anyone. Like I know that, but these are the spots that you have to look at where you can get, like I say, he is going to be an underdog for this one. Anthony Smith should realistically beat him in this spot, but I'm not confident in it at all. So I would rather take a shot, if I'm making a fight prediction, I would rather take a shot on the underdog, who I think can make this grimy. I think he can get takedowns. And I don't trust Anthony Smith. I think he's accumulated a lot of damage this year. I thought he actually should have taken a lot of time off after that Glover Teixeira fight. But he's back in here for a a couple of fights later, so maybe he's just coming in for the paycheck, whatever it may be. But I'm going to take a shot at Devin Clark via a very, very close 29-28 decision in that one there. Miguel Baeza against Takashi Sato. Good fight. Good fight. And I've been going back and forward in this one because I think this is the type of fight that can possibly give Miguel Baeza problems. I really think Miguel Baeza's got a high ceiling, but he's still only 9-0. There's still very, very clear spots in his game that you can get at. He's very hittable. I think I've seen some of his fights where he's against southpaws like Sato, where he can be countered and hit with big shots. You watch the Victor Reina fight, where he lands some big shots on Victor Reina, but Victor Reina lands some massive and wobbles him a few times where he has to clinch up. Then he comes in against Hector Aldana. Hector Aldana was not UFC quality, but he got himself into the UFC, got a good win there, got a big, like, named guy in Matt Brown there, and went in there and went, like, to war with Matt Brown, which was something I don't think he should have did. I think it was a little bit bad fight IQ, but he believes in the talents and the striking and the power that he has. And both guys were slinging back and forward, but he was the one that got knocked down a couple of times in that one there. Did you predict Gina? No, I did Ashlee Evan Smith. I've got Evan Smith in that one. But getting back to this fight, sorry, I'm bad for that looking at the chat. Yeah, he got wobbled a few times against Matt Brown. Like, I think there was a path to victory there where he could have mixed in takedowns. He didn't do it. We did see that in Aldana fight. He did go to the ground in that one there, but he has some nice solid combinations, switches it up. He's got some nice feints there as well. And he's a guy that just puts it together very, very well. But Sato, to me, is a very dangerous... I think he's a very dangerous opponent for Miguel Baeza because he's not a guy that throws in heavy volume, but he's a guy that, like I say, he's got that long left hand, swings it very well. He beat Jason Witt. I'm not taking... I mean, Jason Witt came in there very short notice. I think it was less than a week's notice. And really got blasted out. He's got no real chin either as Jason Witt. He's a grappling kind of guy. He's shown that he can be taken down. Bilal Muhammad did take him down, kind of worked his way at the back, eventually got the rear naked choke, but he also got another takedown in that fight as well. Then he beat Ben Saunders here. I love his left hand. He's a very cultured left hand. He can throw many kind of different shots. Straight down the pipe, he can throw a nice hook. He can mix up to the body, and he can throw an occasional big leg kick there, which can open up his left hand shot up top. I'm edging Miguel Baeza, but like I said, I have been going back and forward in this one. I think this, what is the line on Sato? I think it's not a bad line, honestly. Plus 135. I thought it was higher than that, honestly. So, yeah, my pick's going to be Miguel Baeza. And I was kind of flip-flopping earlier on the day. If I was to make the video like 6-7 hours ago, it was probably going to be Takashi Sato. But when I think about it, I think Miguel Baeza is just a little bit more well-rounded. I think he's, like I say, he's got some good power. He's got some good skills on the feet. He just needs to really put it all together and not be so reckless. And just be careful here, because if he can keep it distance, pop it distance here, I think that he could beat Takashi Sato, and I think that's how he does here. So I've got Miguel Baeza for the win. Gina Mazzany against Rachael Ostovich. I mean, what are these girls even doing in the UFC? I know that Gina Mazzany got brought back. I know why Rachael Ostovich, sorry, is in the UFC. I know exactly why she's in the UFC. But Gina Mazzany, I mean, she got kicked out of the UFC. She went and fought like a 44-year-old woman in her next fight. Then got the short notice call up again, where she got ran through by Julia Avila. Rachael Ostovich, I mean, she's coming off a USADA ban. She's a 4-5 fighter. She looks amazing, if you're into that kind of thing. And she's, I mean, I think her only win was Karine Gavorgian. I think she fought back on the tough finale, which is fighting own girls off the show, which is not great. Lost 2 times. She's been submitted 2 times, both against okay fighters. I think De La Rosa's making some big strides in her game, so that's nice. And Van Zandt was a girl that I think it was just a good matchup for Van Zandt, honestly, in that spot. Yeah, it's hard to be confident in either side here. the one thing that I do like with Gina Mazzany in this fight is that she went to Kansas, Glory MMA. It's a very underrated gym in my opinion. James Crouch putting in some big work there. You're seeing the fruits of his labour with the fighters that are coming through. Your Kevin Crooms, Jason Witt's getting wins in the UFC, Grant Dawson, you've got Tim Elliott there, you've got a few other fighters there as well. So I think he's a very good coach, and I think if he's doing the right things with Gina Mazzany, if he's in the corner, I think she can edge out a win here. She's got a little bit more experience. I think her striking's not great. She's very open. I think she can work her way into the clinch. I think she can get a takedown here. And then once it goes there, I think it's a little bit iffy, honestly. If she can get top position, I think that she can win minutes through that. I think Ostovich will try and look for a submission herself, which is something she's done in the past. But ultimately, I'm going to have to lean with Gina Mazzany. My boy Tiger Bomb MMA, I think he said coin flip. It's a coin flip fight. You can't have any real confidence in this. So I'll take Gina Mazzany in this spot. What's the bet line, actually? I don't even think I've looked at that. Plus 130 in Ostovich, Mazzany minus 150. That's probably where I line it, honestly. So Gina Mazzany is going to be the pick in that one there. Co-main event, which is a weird co-main event if it is, Josh Parisian against Parker Porter. Again, I am actually fairly confident that Josh Parisian should win this fight here. Parker Porter was a guy that came in short notice against Chris Dawkins, who I think is going to be I think he's got the opportunity to be a top 10 fighter in the division. So I'm interested to see how that works out. But he's a guy that's not fought a hell of a lot in the last couple of years. Took a break after the kind of John Jones fight and then was out for like 5 years and so on. But when I look at his couple of fights, I watched a couple of his fights this afternoon actually. And I think he's very hittable. I think that he's a guy that, I mean, he's not fighting great opposition, but he's getting the wins as it is. Got a Kimura win, which was a nice wee submission. Always like seeing submissions like that. And then he got the KO over Bruinstrup, which was a way back late towards like a year ago last year. And a guy who's got some power there. Obviously, he's heavyweight, so they've got big power there in spots. But I think he can be taken down. I think he can be worked on the feet. I'm not saying Josh Parisian is a massively talented fighter, but I think he's put in his dues, being on the Dana White Contender Series, the Ultimate Fighter, went out there and they never picked him up. The first time went out, fought in Aries, which is a promotion they're trying to break into Africa, which I think they'll do a good job with once everything passes, hopefully. And then he got his opportunity and kind of blasted through Chad Thompson, but Chad Thompson was he was very, very, very undersized in my opinion in that fight. And I think that I just like Parisian. I actually think he's a good parlay piece this week. It's someone I'm looking to maybe parlay up. I'm not super confident, so that's the thing. I want to be confident, and I'm not. When I watch Parker Porter, I'm just not confident at all in him. But I think that if he can get takedowns, get to like the mount position, which I think is his best position, he can rain some massive shots. I think from the back, he can reach around the side, land some shots from the side. And I think Porter, I mean, you watch that Marcus Modern fight, which is a little bit concerning. Like, he got taken down in that first round. I know he won in the first round, which is always good, but that guy's like an 8-10 record, so it's not great. I'm going to pick Josh Parisian, looking to parlay him up, but I know the risks for this. I bet a low-level heavyweight fight 2 weeks ago in Dontel Mays, had him with RDA, and like he won convincingly, but that third round he gassed, he was up against the cage, Martinez was throwing bombs. So with heavyweight fights, you've always got to be careful. But I'm not sure Parker Porter's UFC caliber. And Josh Parisian has at least worked his way into the UFC. He's worked to get his opportunity. He's not coming in here on short notice. He's not being thrown in as a last-minute replacement. So I'm going to take Josh Parisian. I think he gets a TKO in round number 1. I think he works his way to mount and gets a TKO finish there in that one. And the main event of the night, we have Curtis Razor Blaydes against Derrick the Black Beast Lewis. I always like watching Black Beast fights. It's always intriguing to me. Just what I liked about his last previous fights actually was the fact that he's coming in, his weight's under control. He's not cutting serious amounts of weight like he previously was. He was dropping like 30 pounds in fight week. Now he's coming in losing 15, 10, I think he said in an interview there, that he's been losing, so he feels better by fight time, and it showed. I mean, with this guy, he's always got the power to, I think, knock anybody out, and he's got some big things in his game that can help him in bad spots. He seems to be in spots where he could be on his back, he could power out at any time, and I think he's going to have to do that at least a few times in this fight with Curtis Blaydes, who, I mean, we all know what Curtis Blaydes is. His game plan for fight is to take you down, work you on the ground, and beat your ass down on the ground, and he will do that consistently over a 15-25 minute period. But there was some chinks in his game. I mean, Volkov, I thought, fought a really tough fight, even though he got outclassed in that one. Went down to the ground, just kind of stayed in that fight, even though he was getting worked with takedowns and signature strikes on the bottom, just getting hit with ground and pound and so on. But he took down Curtis Blaydes once he started to gas a little bit in that one there. And we know that Black Beast kind of conserves his energy a little bit. He's not got the greatest gas tank himself. He is susceptible to being taken down. We have seen that in fights, which is not great. Cormier is going to take you down, but he did manage to work his way back to his feet in that spot there as well. Yeah, it's... and we have seen him knocked out. I mean, Junior Santos caught him as well. I think I really want the Black Beast to win, actually. I think this would be interesting if Curtis starts to gas a little bit, even though he does go back to his wrestling. He does look to get it to the ground. I wouldn't mind seeing Black Beast. I'm a bit of a fan with Black Beast, but does he get it done inside the distance, Daniel? I think he does. My pick's going to be Curtis Blaydes. I think the wrestling and grappling is going to be too much, and I don't think that Derrick Lewis will ever make the right improvements to rectify that problem, where it'll just be a problem for him, yeah. So you don't think he'll gas this fight? Who knows? I mean, he does put in... His game is so like physically challenging, getting like those takedowns against big guys as well. We've got to remember these are 265-pound guys, if not heavier, after they weigh in. So throwing those guys about and being heavy on those guys and manoeuvring them about, it's not going to be easy. So, but I think that he's got enough here to beat Derrick Lewis. So Curtis Blaydes might be my spot for a parlay. I don't know. He's a little bit high. I would like him in the minus 200 areas, like minus 275. But what is he, minus 350 or something? Minus 345. So yeah, he's around that there. Curtis Blaydes is my pick on that one there. There's not many spots I like in this card. I'll look into it a little bit more as the fight week goes on. Actually, the one bet I actually do like, I looked at for this fight, is over 1.5 rounds, minus 150 in the main event. I think that can cash pretty easily, because I think Curtis will work on the ground. I think Derrick will still be in the fight at that point. But I do like Curtis Blaydes over that fight, specifically over 1.5 rounds. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to next week's card. There's good fights in there. There's fighters I really like on there. There's a couple of bets I actually want to make on that card already. I was watching some fights for that. You guys that have been in the chat, so much appreciation for you guys. Thank you so much. To the people that gave me a thumbs up, it's much, much appreciated. Is there anybody in there that's not? It would be much, much appreciated. It helps out the channel greatly. It helps out the analytics to get out there to other people, which could then become new subscribers. And that's, I'm trying to hit that 4,000 mark. That would be a massive thing. So if there's any late thumbs up, much, much appreciated. It would be great. And the last thing, if you missed the start of the video, if you would like to help me donate some money towards some chosen animal charities, I'm going to give them a donation myself. But if there's always people that are reaching out, can I give you some money? You want me a bet, so can I give you some money? Now would be the time for that I would happily accept the money for these animal charities. I'm going to try and make some money for both charities because they've had a tough year. So please reach out on Twitter at Will Martin MMA. My direct messages are always open. And let's see if we can make a little bit of money for these chosen animal charities and give them a nice Christmas dinner, some blankets, whatever it may be I can provide for them. And it'd be on behalf of my channel and my people that watch. So please reach out if you can, if you've got a little bit of money. I don't care how much it is, it all helps. So thank you very much, guys. Until next week, I'll be back next Monday night breaking down Hermansson versus Holland. My boy Ilia Tapura is on that card. I'm looking to parlay him up in that one, even though I think Damon Jackson's there. But Sammy, Go back and watch, brother. Give me a thumbs up if you haven't already. Tell some friends. Let's hit that 4,000 mark, guys. Until next week, all the very, very best. Take care and enjoy the fights when they come around this weekend. Peace.